Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see, what if Kyuubi granted Rinnegan to Naruto, at the age of 6, part 1. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. Hate. That one word was all Naruto Uzumaki, a mere 6-year-old, experienced all his life. All of his memories were filled with hate directed at him. Even his birthdays were filled with it. Today was no different. He never could understand why. What he doesn't know is the reason why he was hated. 6 years ago to this day, the fearsome Kyuubi no Kitsune, the 9-tailed demon fox, made an assault on the Hidden Leaf village. It destroyed many homes, killed many shinobi, and caused an unimaginable amount of terror and grief in the hearts of all of Konoha. Had it not been for the legendary 4th Hokage, the Yellow Flash, the greatest man to ever grace the elemental nations, it would have wiped out Konoha. The 4th Hokage was not a legend for nothing. He made his last stand on Gamabunta, the king of toads, and in a heroic tale worthy of all heroic tales, he killed the demon. He sacrificed his life for his village. But why was Naruto hated? Perhaps it was because he shared his birthday with the date of the attack. Why was he beaten every day of his life? Why had he been kicked out of the orphanage at age 4? What had he done to deserve the village's hate? At least the old man is nice to me, the glum blonde thought in a feeble attempt to cheer himself up. He was, of course, referring to the 3rd Hokage, the only person to acknowledge his existence in a positive manner. The blonde was currently wandering the empty streets of Konoha's eastern district. Normally, a large village such as Konoha would never be so empty. But it was October 10th, Naruto's birthday. The day Kyuubi was defeated. The day Yondaime died. The day that would change the course of history forever. He turned the corner to attempt to reach his apartment when he ran into a large male. "Hey demon, watch where you're going," he said. Naruto looked up into his face. He was easily 6 feet 6 inches. He had a scarred face, one running horizontally across his forehead, one running down from the midpoint of his forehead, down his nose to the middle of his chin, and one on his right cheek. He had 2 brown eyes, with black hair that fell to his shoulders. He wore the typical Jonin outfit. Naruto realized that it was a Jonin, and one that could easily cause him harm. None of it mattered to him. He was too busy thinking about his eyes. Those cold, hate-filled eyes. Why do they all stare at me like that? He asked himself. "I'm sorry, sir. I wasn't watching where I was going." He apologized. The man seemed as if he didn't hear him. "You know what, you stupid demon? I've decided that you can't exist here anymore. You're a threat to the peace that we work so hard to maintain. Your very existence is sickening. Die," he said while drawing a kunai in an attempt to slit Naruto's throat. The child, however, had developed fast reflexes from past assassination attempts. He ducked as it sailed over his head and sliced a part of his golden hair. The boy ran back down the street, with Jonin in hot pursuit. He turned into an alley he had used many times. He jumped on some boxes and leapt up to a fence, where he hopped onto a low-lying building. The man didn't falter in his attempt to hurt the child. Instead, he merely used chakra to hop up the building. Naruto ran as fast as he could, hopping from the occasional building to the next. Having been attacked so many times in his life, he had been able to develop the ability to jump from one building to the next. But the man he was trying to escape was a Jonin. He easily kept up with him. A hail of shuriken from his right whizzed at him in an attempt to hurt, if not kill, the blonde. The child suffered several cuts, and one embedded itself in his shoulder, but he kept running. He glanced back, to find that 3 Chunin had joined the Jonin in his chase. He groaned inwardly. "What did I do to deserve this? I'm only 6. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm no demon, or monster. Why?" he asked himself again. He dodged, as a kunai knife came close to impaling him in the head. He kept running, and jumping until he reached the end of the row of buildings. Naruto jumped into the alleyway below, in yet another attempt to escape his pursuers. That was his mistake. As soon as he landed, he knew that he was screwed. His left ankle buckled under the momentum, and landed the wrong way. Having shifted most of his weight onto that foot, which was in the wrong position to support it, Naruto fell, as he heard a sickening snap. Judging from the pain in his foot, he'd have to say that he broke his ankle. He wanted to scream, but he'd felt worse. The ninja caught up to him, sneering at the child. "Well, demon. Look at you. You can't even stand," one Chunin said, as he kicked Naruto in the head. The child was dazed by the impact, and was ready to pass out, but before he could, he felt 2 things. One was blood escaping from his mouth. The other was a pill that he was forced to swallow. Before he could ponder what that pill was, Jonin picked him up by the neck, and told him what the strange tablet was. "Nah, monster. You're not going to get unconscious on my watch. That pill keeps the person who swallowed it conscious for 2 hours, no matter what happens. Feel the pain," the man said, as he thrust a kunai into Naruto's gut. He gasped, as he was then discarded like a broken tool thrown aside into the wall. When he looked up at the sneering man, he couldn't help but ask, "Why do you keep beating me? What have I done to deserve your hate?" Jonin looked him in the eyes. "You know what you did, you demon. You destroyed my home, and killed my mother, cousin, and wife," he responded. "You nearly killed me, and killed my girlfriend," one Chunin exclaimed. My best friend was crippled because of you. The second stated. And you killed my family. The third Chunin said. Please, I haven't killed anybody, Naruto said desperately. Shut up, demon. You know what you've done, and yet you walk around with that dumb kick to the head. Fucking stab in the arm. Goofy ass. Kick in the stomach. Rin. Jonin exclaimed while throwing Naruto into several trash cans. To his credit, the child did not cry out. Fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu, one Chunin said. Several fireballs pelted him and burned him all over. Earth style. Earth dragon bullet, Jonin said. A dragon had formed from the earth and fired several mud bullets at Naruto. They all connected, breaking most of his bones. Fire style. Fireball jutsu, one Chunin said, while the second also did hand signs. Wine style. Great breakthrough, the second performance. Not many things could rattle Naruto. A giant ball of flames, greatly increased in power by a huge gust of wind, was one of them. Naruto watched with unconcealed horror as it flew directly at him. Time stood still. Everything but the fireball blacked out. Then it too became non-existent as he fell face first into sewer water. He laid there for a few seconds, not comprehending how he had reached the sewer. He decided, however, that he didn't like lying down in the water. He got up and took a look at his surroundings. He was standing before a huge, 200-foot cage. In the middle of the cage stood the kanji for seal. Naruto, for the life of him, couldn't figure out why such a thing was there until the object it was containing appeared. Naruto first noted the giant claws, teeth, and eyes that the beast had. It was a red shade, with evil red chakra coming off of it. 9 bushy tails swung behind the animal. With a start, Naruto realized that it was a fox. That meant, I see that you figured it out, kid. I am the king of all demons, the great Kyuubi no Yuko. It bellowed. The sound reverberated throughout the sewer, almost knocking Naruto off his feet. Kyuubi noticed it, and gave an amusing chuckle. Kyuubi, why are you here? I thought that the Yondaime Hokage killed you. Naruto frantically exclaimed. Kyuubi gave a bellowing laugh in response. Kid, I'm a being of pure chakra. I cannot be killed. I can, however, be sealed, which is what your Hokage did to defeat me. He sealed me within a newborn baby you. He explained. Naruto's blood ran cold at the revelation. So I'm really a demon, aren't I? He asked sadly. He understood why the villagers hated him now. He had caused them so much pain. Kid, listen to me. You are not a demon, the villagers are just idiots. They don't know the difference between the sake and its bottle. They experienced a lot of pain the day I attacked, and they took it out on you. For what it's worth, I'm truly sorry. Kyuubi said. Naruto looked up in surprise. Why are you apologizing? He asked curiously. Everything that happened in life to you was because of me. You don't deserve anything that's happening to you, and because of that, I apologize. It's okay, I suppose, but why did you attack? That is a tale for when you're older. For now, though, you are in serious danger. Listen closely, kid. First off, I'm giving you the Rinnegan. Think of it as a gift for all the trouble you've gone through. The Rinnegan is the most powerful there is. It gives you control over every element there is, as well as control over gravity. Secondly, I'll be training you. You'll learn the fox style Taijutsu, which relies on speed and strength. You'll also learn how to do fire. Plus, as a dark being, you have a very strong shadow alignment, so I'll be training you in using that, as well. Finally, I want to strike a deal. For each year onward, you absorb a tail's worth of my chakra into your own. By 15, you'll have all my chakra, and at 16, you'll also have my intelligence. By age 30, I can leave your body, but you retain my chakra and intelligence, as well as everything that I've taught you, including the shadow. The fox said. I agree with the first two things, but I'm not letting you out. You'll just wreak havoc on everything. That's not true. I didn't attack Konoha of my free will. My kitten and mate were killed shortly before, and the place was littered with the smell of snakes, and had Konoha headbands everywhere. On the way to your village to seek out who did the attack, I was captured in an extremely powerful genjutsu placed on me by a Uchiha. After that, my memory is fuzzy, but I do know that I attacked your village. Kyuubi said. Naruto was silent for a long time. I think that I trust you. Fine, I agree to your terms. And if I find the people who killed your kids and mate, I'll kill them. I think that I'm gonna like you, kid. But right now, we have more pressing matters. You're about to be hit by a fireball. I need you to give me control for a little while, so that I can get you out of harm's way. Kyuubi explained. Very well. Naruto stated before he came back to his senses. He felt the power rushing through his body. Time seemed to slow again, as the fireball approached. His life danced before his eyes before he felt Kyuubi take control. He raised his arm, and with a resounding roar, he screamed, Shinra Tensei. The fireball was instantly put out. The power left Naruto. The boy felt weaker and weaker. Darkness ensnared him, but not before two Anbu, Inu, and Hippi dropped down between him and his assailants. He smirked. He would live to see another day. Kakashi sighed, as he and Anko barged into the chambers where the council was meeting. He really didn't want to interrupt, but after coming across the scene that they had, there was little choice in doing so. Kakashi, Anko. What are you doing here? Sarutobi asked. Lord Hokage, Kakashi began. There was an incident earlier today involving Naruto Uzumaki. That little demon should be put down. One council member screamed. 2 Anbu members appeared after a hand signal by Sarutobi and took him away. Anyway, Kakashi, continue. Danzo said. Kakashi's eyes narrowed for a slight second at the man. His sensei had told him tales of Danzo Shimura, and he didn't seem like the type of man Kakashi would like to work with. Enko and I were doing our regular patrol routine when we spotted Naruto running away from Hokage Takota, Jonin, as well as Jahi, Hitomi Nakata, and Yuashi Naomi, all Chunin. We followed the 5 to an alleyway, where Naruto fell, and broke his left ankle. Hokage fed him a special pill designed to keep someone conscious after Hitomi had kicked him in the head. Hokage then proceeded to stab Naruto in the gut before throwing him into the side of a building. Hokage then kicked Naruto in the head, stabbed him in the arm, and kicked him in the stomach. Hitomi used a fire style Phoenix Flower Jutsu on him, burning the child in multiple spots. Following that, Hokage used Earth style Earth Dragon Bullet on him, breaking several bones. And after that, Yuashi used Fire style Fireball Jutsu. White Jaw used Wind style Great Breakthrough to incinerate him. Kakashi paused, as Anko was preparing to take over. The demo brat deserves it. Sakuta Haruno, head of the Haruno family, and member of the civilian council, said. What has he ever done to deserve this treatment? Asked Shikaku Nar, the head of the Lazy Nar clan. He's the reincarnation of that monster. She screeched. Everyone flinched. He's a regular boy who has the Kyuubi trapped inside him. It was his fate. Hiashi Hyuga added. He was the head of the famous Hyuga clan. Sakuta, shut up. All the other clan had stated before she could say anything else. Hey, this next part is very interesting. Anko interrupted. Everyone sharply gazed at her, while she just grinned, then spaced out for a second before opening his eyes. They had changed into a small black pupil with one circle around it, like a ripple. Both the iris and sclera were light purple color. Then he said some words Shinra Tensei, and the fireball just disappeared. She said. At this, the whole council broke into gasps and conversations. Sarutobi brought his hand up to stop the whisperings. Hiruzen, Sarutobi's longtime teammate and advisor, Kaharu Utatane, started. Do you know of any such thing? She asked. Hiruzen nodded slowly in response. That is what the Rinnegan looks like. He said, shocking Shikaku, Kakashi, Shibi, Fugaku, Hiashi, and the advisors. The others looked at him in confusion. The Rinnegan? One merchant of the civilian council asked. The Rinnegan is the most powerful ever to be discovered. The Rinnegan, Byakugan, and Sharingan make up the 3 great Taijutsu. It gives the user undisputed power over all 5 elements, as well as control over gravity, and allows the user to use 6 dead bodies to fight with him. Each body has a different ability. It is said that the user of the Rinnegan is either someone who will bring peace to the world, as the Rakuto Sennin did, or will destroy the world. Hiruzen said. Everyone was silent until the pink-haired bitch started screaming once more. He should be mated to my daughter. This outburst then created a giant mess of things which proceeded to give the Hokage several tick marks. Shut up. He roared using the infamous big head no jutsu. I've got to thank Iruka for that, he thought, as the chambers fell quiet. What is the extent of his injuries? Both Hiashi and Fugaku asked sincerely. They knew of Naruto's heritage, and since they were both very close to his parents, were genuinely concerned for him. So much so that the only reason Naruto was not adopted was because both sides were too stubborn to give up in their pursuit for him. He suffered a broken ankle, a small fracture in the skull, 3 broken ribs, a fractured patella, 2 fractured ulnas, and several second-degree burn marks covering his torso and legs. Kakashi reported. He may or may not have a torn biceps. Sarutobi sighed. What happened to the 4 assailants? Hokage and Hitomi were killed during a battle between us. Ja and Yuashi gave up and were sent to Ibiki. Enko said while maniacally grinning. This meeting is adjourned. Sarutobi said with a sigh. The council filed out, leaving him alone with Kakashi and Enko. You guys don't know how much I appreciate this, he said. Enko shrugged while Kakashi gave no visible reaction. Sarutobi was sure, though, that he was smiling underneath his Anbu mask. It was our duty. Besides, we like this kid. Enko said while Kakashi nodded. Sarutobi sighed once more as he took a drag from his pipe. Kakashi, Enko, you two are to train Naruto-kun for the next 7 years in everything you know. Kakashi teaches him how to use chakra and ninjutsu. Anko, teach him how to do taijutsu. He said. Whatever else you see fit may also be thrown into the mix. The 2 Anbu merely nodded and left. As Sarutobi turned to face his village, he couldn't help but think of Naruto. He didn't know it at the time, but the history of Konoha would be forever changed through this one night. Naruto groaned as he turned in his bed once more. The alarm clock went off again and again and again. Finally, he decided that he couldn't take any more of it. He got out of his bed, turned the alarm off, and looked at the calendar. June 16. Shit was the one word that summarized Naruto's thoughts. Today was the day of the Genin exams. No wonder his alarm clock had been set. He was Naruto Uzumaki. He didn't give a flying fuck when he was late or not. but he could never miss something as important to him as the Genin exams. He dashed across the room, bursting through his bathroom door as he did so. Before he hopped in, he created 2 clones. "Akui, I need you to prepare breakfast for me, ASAP," he said to the first one. He was Naruto's height of 5 feet 3 inches, with the signature golden spiky hair of Naruto's. Akui was clad in a blue shirt with an orange spiral on it. He wore black baggy pants, and had goggles on his head. Akui nodded before running off. Naruto turned his attention to the female clone. "Metsui, I need you to clean up my apartment," he ordered her. She was at a height of 5 feet 1 inch, with 2 ponytails hanging on either side of her head. She wore an orange shirt with the Konoha symbol centered on it. She also wore the black baggy pants, but did not have the goggles that Naruto or Akui had. Metsui nodded before turning, and summoned a group of clones that looked like Naruto. "Clean up division, you know our duty," she said. They all nodded, and sped off into the living room. Naruto sighed, as he headed into his warm shower. "Having my own army is freaking awesome," he thought. "These excess chakra seals that turn the chakra into clones are so awesome." After taking a 5-minute shower, he ran out of the bathroom with his robe on. He quickly grabbed his black shirt with the kanji for leaf on the front and strength on the back, the black baggy pants that he wore, and his goggles before running back in. He ran back out merely a second later dressed. He stopped to grab his trench coat that he saw the 4th Hokage wear in many pictures. The difference was that instead of being white with red flames, it was white with black flames reminiscent of a Amaterasu licking the bottom. On the back, the words 5th Hokage ran across it. Naruto's dream was to be a Hokage better than the 4th Hokage ever would be. And he would achieve it, as soon as the old man retired. At least, that was his belief. He sat down, and quickly demolished the bacon and eggs that Akui had made before dispelling said clone. He turned to Metsui and the cleanup division, to find that they too were done. He dispelled them, as well before summoning 3 more clones. The first clone was Naruto's height. He looked exactly like Naruto did in terms of features, but his hair was black instead of yellow. He wore a green shirt with the words "Bow down to me" written across it in big and orange letters. He wore the standard black baggy pants. "Hyasuke, you and the Taijutsu division meet on top of the Hokage monument to practice the fox style and Emperor's Guard katas," he said. Hyasuke nodded and left via an open window. Naruto turned to the female in the middle. She was 5 feet 4 inches, with red hair that reached to her shoulders. She had the whiskers, as all Naruto clones did. She wore a plain white shirt with baggy pants. On her back were 2 identical blades, the standard Tanto swords. Her waist had a katana on it. "Anju, take the Kenjutsu division to training ground 44 and head to the A-class section with Jake and the Ninjutsu division. Your objective is to survive the day without losing a single member." Both she and the 3rd clone, clad in the same clothes as Hyasuke but with an orange shirt and green letters, nodded and disappeared in A. Anju's consisted of fire swirling around her before disappearing, while Jake's was with the shadows of the apartment bending around him, swallowing him whole until he faded into nothingness. Naruto sighed. "Shika, Lisa, come out," he said to 2 more clones. Shika looked like Naruto without the trench coat, while Lisa was wearing Anju's clothes, but looked like Mitsui. "Shika, you and the tactics division need to go off and make some formations. Lisa, you and the torture and interrogation division have to go and practice in the Anbu headquarters. If anyone stops you, tell them that Ibiki and Anko called for you. And, if possible, find Kajiri and the assassination division and tell them that they can dispel," he said. Shika nodded and phased through the apartment's walls, while Lisa gave a hi before disappearing in a swirl of water. Naruto looked at the alarm clock. It read 8:55. The academy began in 5 minutes. Naruto immediately ran out of the apartment, but not before activating the blood and chakra recognition seals. They wouldn't allow anyone but him to enter. He also activated the security and weapon seals, so that any intruder would be bombarded by a hail of weapons, and Naruto would be alerted. He took off down the streets, blasting several groups of people who jumped as he scared the crap out of them. He mentally snorted. "Before, they treat me like shit. Now, because of my eyes, they worship the ground I walk on. Fucking hypocrites," he thought. Kyuubi chuckled. "Hey, being worshipped is better than being hated, isn't it?" he asked. "True, but it's still sickening," he thought as his coat flew with the wind. He loved running this fast. The wind in his face, the scenery rushing by, the fast reflexes he had to dodge incoming traffic was so exhilarating. Finally he reached the academy. Knowing that he didn't have time to head up to the 4th floor, he channeled chakra to his legs and jumped towards the open window of his classroom. Soaring through the air was awesome, and he probably scared the crap out of Iruka. Sasuke would glare at him like the emo bitch he was, and everyone else that wasn't staring at the Uchiha would be looking at him with either envy or amazement. Iruka was sipping on his coffee, watching the class interact in what would be possibly their last class together. Kiba was making subtle advances on Hinata. Shino and Shikamaru were having a light conversation. Chaoji was eating out of his chip bag. Ino and Sakura were arguing over Sasuke, who was glaring at the chalkboard, as if his very existence pissed him off to no end. Everyone else was just making a ton of needless noise and confusion. If Naruto's late again, I'm gonna Ruka mumble under his breath. Before he could finish his thoughts, however, he noticed a blur appear at the windowsill. Everyone else turned to it as well, to see Naruto sitting there without a care in the world. "Hey, Iruka-sensei. I'm not late for the exams, am I?" he asked. Iruka glanced at the clock. It had just struck 9 o'clock. "No, Naruto, you just arrived in time. How did you get up here?" Iruka asked. Naruto just looked at him. "I jumped," he said plainly. As he expected, Kiba and Sasuke scowled at him for showing off, while Shino, Shikamaru, and Choji didn't even lift an eyebrow. Ino, and about a third of the girls in the class, instantly swooned over him, while Sakura, and about a half of the other girls, stared at Sasuke. The rest of the girls got into their Shikamaru fangirl club, something the lazy Nara accidentally received after the class heard of his IQ, and saw him beat Sasuke in a battle. And Hinata glanced at him every few seconds or so before looking away with a blush, something that Naruto noted in the very back of his mind. "Teach me how to do that, dope," Sasuke demanded. Naruto looked him in the eye. "Nope," he said. Sasuke growled. "You will teach me." Naruto merely shook his head in response. "Learn it yourself, Uchiha. Just because your precious Sharingan resides within you does not make you automatically better than me, for if you did your studies, you'd know that of the three great, the Rinnegan I have, not you is naturally the strongest. So sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and prepare your limbic tasks to take the exams," he stated. Sasuke growled, but Sakura was the first to make a move. "Don't talk about Sasuke-kun like that, Naruto baka," she screamed, as she attempted to hit the boy. Unfortunately for her, Naruto was still perched in the window. He merely leaned back, as the blow passed over him. He then used his legs like a scissor to pin Sakura, and with pure leg strength, threw Sakura out the window. He did a backflip, and grabbed a hold of the windowsill, and pulled himself back in. "She'll be back in a little bit, Iruka-sensei. And before you go, and scold me for doing that, if she can't survive that fall without damage, then she doesn't deserve to be a ninja," he stated. Iruka opened his mouth in response, but then realized that Naruto was right. Even a genin should have the skills to land properly. If she didn't, then she'd prove herself to be all book smarts, but absolutely unskillful. Naruto decided to take a seat to the right of the Uchiha, where the pink-haired Harper had been sitting. The Uchiha gave him a passing glance, and scowled, but said nothing. Naruto smirked. He certainly put the bitch back in his place, or so he thought. As the class waited for Sakura to get her ass back to the room, Naruto noticed several pairs of eyeballs focused on him. He turned to meet all the looks. Instantly over half of the people staring at him looked away. Naruto grinned at those who still had the guts to stare at him. Personally, he thought that having guts was a huge factor in being a ninja. He first met the gaze of Kiba Inizuka, the heir of the Inizuka clan. Naruto decided that Kiba was good at Taijutsu, but not really at anything other than that. He might be a ninja, but Naruto really wasn't sure. They were friends, not the best of friends, but they tolerated each other. Naruto didn't like that Kiba glared at him for talking to Hinata or outdoing him at something. Kiba, though unknown to the class, didn't like him mainly because he was the object of the girl of his dreams. He then turned to Shino Aburum, a good friend of his. Shino was the heir of the Aburum clan. As all Aburums were, he was silent and intellectual. He felt that he and Shino had a somewhat special bond. Naruto was ostracized by something out of his control, while Shino was ostracized by something that had nothing to do with him. When he could get the stoic person to talk, they'd have a nice conversation. Naruto didn't mind being in silence with him, either, for unlike many his age, he found his time with Shino rather companionable than creepy. Naruto tore his eyes from Shino, and turned to Shikamaru, one of his best friends in the academy. Heir of the Nara clan, Shikamaru was the laziest person Naruto knew, but also the smartest. The two had many fun times with each other. When Naruto felt the urge to go on a prank, Shikamaru was the first person he'd contact. Shikamaru, in turn, found someone who understood his passion for watching clouds, and gave him a good match in shogi. Naruto's head of the tactics division, Shika, was even named after Shikamaru, a tactical genius by all means. Fourth on the list was Choji Akimichi, also a good friend of Naruto. He was Shikamaru's best friend, heir to the Akimichi clan, and someone Naruto could share his ramen obsession with. Choji was big-boned, but Naruto knew better than to call him fat. Choji was also someone with whom he could prank or hang out with. Choji even went so far as to offer a bag of chips to Naruto, which, to any Akimichi, was a symbol of trust and friendship. Finally, he came to Hinata Hyuga, heiress of the Hyuga clan, and a straight man's wet dream. She was, in Naruto's description once when she had found him half dead from chakra exhaustion, an angel from heaven. She had nice hair, a pretty face, a perfect body, and a nice personality. Naruto felt that he could go on and on. But, she would shy away from Naruto, who took it, as she didn't like him, was afraid of him. Therefore, even though the two would make a perfect couple with Naruto's rather fierce and caring personality to Hinata's shy and loving one, they were not boyfriend and girlfriend. These 5 were basically Naruto's best friends in the academy, even though Kiba and he had some rough patches, and Hinata and he barely interacted. That aside, the group of 6 were really close. "Hey guys, what's up?" Naruto asked the 5 who were grouped together. "Nothing much, just getting ready to ace this exam," Kiba said confidently, borderline arrogantly. "Big words, Inuzuka. Can you back that up?" he retorted. Shikamaru groaned. "This whole test is troublesome. This is such a drag," he said rather sleepily. "Shikamaru, everything is a drag to you," Choji replied before stuffing his face once more with goods. "Naruto, how do you think that we'll all do?" Shino asked. He had experience with Naruto's predicting abilities. They were good, very much so. "I'll probably finish first, depending on how hard I decide I want to work, and how hard the Uchiha actually tries. You, Shino, can come in either 3rd, 4th or 5th. You and Shikamaru are pretty even, and since you guys occasionally take Taijutsu lessons with me, your Taijutsu is way better than one of your clansmen. Shikamaru, if you put effort in it, you can make it to 3rd place, but you'll be no lower than 5th, since your mom won't take that from you. Hinata should easily be the top Kunoichi, and could make it to the 5th spot overall, if you gave it your all. Choji can take 6th or 7th, and Kiba should be that other spot. After that, everyone else falls in place. I'm confident that we'll all make it through, though," he said to give everyone extra confidence. He didn't want his best buddies to fail, of course. After some more meaningless conversation, Sakura finally made it back up to the room. Iruka motioned her to an empty seat before using the scary had no jutsu to settle the class. "Alright, now that Sakura is here we can commence with the test." The test is divided into 5 parts. The first part, which we take now, is a written exam. You have 20 minutes to answer these 10 questions based on Konoha history, he said while handing the tests around. Naruto snorted. He took his village's history in pride, so he should take this part easily. "Begin," he said, as everyone got to work. 1. Who was the first Hokage? Naruto scribbled down Hashirama Senju. 2. What was the second Hokage's relation to the first Hokage? Naruto said that they were brothers. 3. Why was the 4th Hokage also known as the Yellow Flash? Naruto said that because of his Thunder Flying God technique, the Hiroshin no Jutsu, with which he could obliterate entire armies in a single Yellow Flash. 4. What was the greatest disaster to befall Konoha? He snorted before writing down Kyuubi's attack. This test was way too easy. 5. Name the 3 legendary Sannin and their sensei. Naruto wrote Jiraiya, the Toad Sannin, Tsunade, the Slug Sannin, Orochimaru, the Snake Sannin, and Hiruzen Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage. 6. Who is Kakashi Hatake? Naruto wrote down that Kakashi was a jonin of Konoha, who was world-renowned for using his Sharingan to master over 1,000. At this, he mentally frowned since there weren't even that many in the world. 7. Name the major clans of Konoha. Hyuga, Uchiha, Aburam, Akamichi, Nara, Yamanaka, and Inuzuka. 8. Who is responsible for the Uchiha massacre? Itachi Uchiha. 9. What is training ground 44 known as? The Forest of Death. 10. What is the Anbu? The Anbu are a highly trained group of shinobi that take on the most dangerous of missions. They answer only to the Hokage, and those in Anbu above them. Naruto grinned as he dropped his pencil. From the looks of it, he was the second done in 5 minutes. Sakura, of course, was first, because she was nothing but a textbook anyway. After the 20 minutes was up, Iruka turned to them. Next up is your throwing ability. We'll head outside to do this test. Class, get in a single file line, and follow me to the throwing grounds. The class settled into the standard single file line, with Shino in the front and Ino in the back. Apparently, they were lined up by their last names, which is why Naruto groaned. His last name of Uzumaki was, after all, second to last on the list. He figured that he'd somewhat pay attention. Class, this test is simple. You have 5 kunai to hit a dummy from 20 feet away, and then 5 shuriken to hit another dummy from 20 feet away. The process repeats, except that it will increase from 20 feet to 30 feet. Vital areas are 5 points, while everywhere else is 1 point. Missing the target is a subtraction of 3 points. Shino, you're up first, Iruka explained. The Abiram nodded and went up. Naruto watched with interest as Shino connected on all 5 of his kunai from 20 feet, with 1 in the neck, 1 in between the eyes, 1 in the forehead, 1 in the lung, and 1 that stuck out of his arm. The shuriken went slightly worse, with 2 in the neck, 1 in the stomach, 1 to the heart, and 1 that grazed the head, but missed. From 30 feet, Shino actually did better. 1 kunai went in the heart, 1 to the left lung, 1 to the right lung, 1 in the forehead, and 1 in the neck. The shuriken also did better. 2 hit the heart, 1 in the right lung, 1 in between the eyes, and 1 that struck his forehead. Iruka nodded while scribbling furiously. Alright, so that was 4 to the neck, 2 in between the eyes, 3 to the forehead, 4 to the heart, 4 in the lungs, and since that was all vital areas, that turns into an 85. The 1 in the stomach was 3 points, since it's a 50-50 chance that the person lives or dies. There was 1 in the arm, so that brings you to an 89, but since you missed a shuriken, your final score is an 86. Choji, step up if you will. Choji did worse than the Abiram, with 1 kunai to the neck, 1 to the heart, 2 in the stomach, and 1 that missed. The shuriken ended up with 1 in the neck, 1 in the forehead, 1 in the arm, 1 in the leg, and 1 that missed. From 30 yards out, 3 kunai went to the stomach, while 1 found a lung, and 1 missed. With the shuriken, 1 found the neck, 1 hit the forehead, 1 hit the heart, and 2 missed. Choji, that translates to 42. And so it went on. Hinata ended up with a 86. Kiba found himself with a 72. Shikamaru managed a 59, which was expected, as the Nara didn't have all that good an aim. Finally, Sasuke came up, and managed a 97, only missing a shuriken from 30 feet out. Beat that, dope. Sasuke taunted, as Naruto stepped up. Without so much as taking a glance, 2 kunai hit the neck, and 3 to the head, 1 in each eye, and 1 to the forehead. 1 shuriken to both lungs, 1 to the heart, 1 in the neck, and 1 forehead finished up the 20-footers. Naruto then nailed all 5 kunai in the head. With the shuriken, he decided to show off. Flicking 1 to the neck, he coated it with wind chakra that decapitated the dummy. A flaming shuriken struck the man's left lung, while 1 covered in lightning hit the right lung. A shuriken that found the man's heart instantly caused the straw to cave in, signaling that it was covered with earth chakra. And a kunai with a water cloak struck the body's stomach. The area became wet, as the kunai punctured the dummy. Iruka stood speechless, as did all the other teachers and students. Even Sasuke's mind shut down for a moment at the display. As if it were a hidden signal, all the minds rebooted at once. Despite this, however, Iruka is the first to regain his speech abilities. Naruto's scores haven't been seen since the 4th Hokage took this test. Amazing. You scored a 200, because using elemental chakra while throwing is an automatic extra 20 points. Itachi Uchiha scored a 140, Kakashi Haddock scored a 140, but this ties with the highest score set by the Yondaime Hokage. He stuttered out. Naruto nodded lazily, as if he did stuff like that every day, which, knowing him, he probably did. After a few minutes of sitting there, Ino completed the portion of the test with a 64, something she gloated non-stop to Sakura, who only got a 57, one of the worst grades. They went farther over to the grounds they reserved for Taijutsu sparring. Iruka turned to his class once more. Okay, so the third part is the Taijutsu exam. In this part, 2 competitors will enter the ring. They will spar using nothing but Taijutsu. The one to be knocked out of the ring or forced to surrender will lose 10 points, while the one who wins gets an extra 10 points. It is suggested that you use the academy-style Taijutsu, but other forms are okay as well. First off, Shino Abiram and Choji Akamichi. The 2 boys headed into the ring. After about 3 minutes of sparring, Choji eventually won. Shino was faster by far, but Choji managed to get 1 powerful blow that knocked Abiram out of the ring. Choji settled with an 89, while Shino received a 78. After some more battles, Sakura and Hinata took to the ring. The match was over as soon as it started. Sakura threw a sloppy punch at Hinata, who sidestepped and shoved her into Hinata's waiting foot. Sakura tripped and fell out of the ring. Iruka shook his head. Hinata, that's a perfect 110, while Sakura gets a 43 for effort and throwing a punch. Iruka said, reading the results Mizuki gave him. Honestly, he believed that Sakura deserved a 0, but since Mizuki was proctoring this part of the exam, he couldn't argue. Kiba thrashed some civilian kids pretty easily, earning him a 106 for both speed and strength. Shikamaru did surprisingly well, earning a win against some other kid, and receiving a 96. Finally, Naruto and Sasuke took to the ring. The Baka's butt, Sasuke-kun. Sakura cheered, as the Uchiha settled into the Uchiha clan's stance. Go, Naruto-kun. Ino and, though much quieter, Hinata, said, as Naruto settled into the Emperor's guard stance. It consisted of Naruto holding his right hand out in a claw-like fashion, with the left hand off to his side and behind it. His right foot was also put in front of the left foot in the same fashion as his hands. Begin, Mizuki said, as he leapt out of the 10-foot ring. The 2 stood for a long time, not moving a single muscle. They wait for the other to make a move. Finally, Sasuke cannot stand the wait and decides to taunt Naruto in the hopes of making him move. What's the matter? Are you scared of facing me? He asked. Naruto shook his head. Nope, but you are too weak to even go full out on, so I'm just going to use my weakest style. That should be enough for you, he stated. Sasuke growled and charged Naruto. He began with the right fist to the face. Naruto deflects the punch away and blocks the spinning kick from the right foot with his forearm. Sasuke then forces himself to jump over Naruto, trying to kick him on the way. Naruto blocks the attack with his forearm and pushes Sasuke away. Sasuke lands rather neatly and comes at him again with a knee to the gut. Naruto blocks with his right hand. Sasuke launches a left hook to the face of Naruto, who grabs it and tosses Sasuke over his shoulder. The boy landed about a foot in front of the line before Naruto appeared and launched a really hard punch. It was within human strength, something that Sasuke noted as he landed. That's not fair. He cheated. That last punch was inhumanly strong, which meant that he used chakra to enhance it. He stated. Naruto intervened, seeing as how he was the one in question. No, that wasn't chakra, but rather your energy plus mine. The Emperor's Guard style is a defensive style Taijutsu stance where the user absorbs the energy from the opponent's blows and redirects at them. That's why I stayed on the defensive most of the time. Furthermore, even if I did use chakra, it would have counted as Taijutsu anyway, because I did not use ninjutsu or jinjutsu. Sasuke growled. Teach me that style, dope. He demanded. Why? I thought that the Uchihas were better than everything, so why would you need to learn his style underneath your Uchiha stance? He questioned. To everyone's shock, the reasoning actually went through to Sasuke, who paused. You know what, dope? You're right. He stated before walking away. Naruto received a 110, while Sasuke received a 90. The class then proceeded to move away from the training ground and over to the forest. Next up is the Jinjutsu portion. You must dispel a Jinjutsu we place on you, as fast as you can. Under 10 seconds is a perfect 100, under 20 is a 90, and so on, and so forth. Shino received a 100 after dispelling the illusion 3 seconds in. Choji had a harder time, but still had a 100 after 7 seconds. Sakura received a 100 only because thanks to her childish reserves, her chakra control was good, and that made it easy to dispel a Jinjutsu. Hinata received a 100 thanks to the Hyuga's ability to see through Jinjutsu and dispel it easily. Kiba got a 90 after taking about 11 seconds to dispel it, while Shikamaru got a 100 after a 5-second gap. Finally, Sasuke, Naruto, and Ino all received a 100, with Naruto being able to dispel the Jinjutsu in a second, Sasuke in 3 seconds, and Ino in 8 seconds. Finally, they went back into their academy classroom for the final portion of the exam. Okay guys, this last part is the ninjutsu part. You have to perform the henge, transformation, kawamiri, substitution, and bunshin no jutsu, clone technique, to pass. For the bunshin, you have to produce at least 2 clones. If you want, you can perform from outside of the academy for extra credit. Iruka explained. Shino, you're first. Abiram walked in and out several moments later with the headband. Choji, Sakura, surprisingly, Hinata, Kiba, Shikamaru, and Sasuke did the same. Finally it was Naruto's turn. Alright Naruto, first as Iruka began. However, Mizuki appeared eager to start, as he launched a handful of shuriken at Naruto before Iruka could even start. He substituted with a chair off to the side of the room. He quickly then turned into a carbon copy of the 4th Hokage, which he already is, except with whiskers, using the henge, before turning back into himself. He then created 4 perfect clones, and then used the shadow clone jutsu to fill the room with clones of himself. As Iruka hit one, it dispelled, showing him that it was indeed different from the one that the academy teaches. Congratulations Naruto, you passed with flying colors. He congratulated, as Naruto grabbed a band and tied it to his forehead. He gave a smile at Iruka, and left the room. Outside, he met Kiba, Shino, Hinata, Shikamaru, and Choji. Hey look, it's Naruto. Kiba said, as they turned to see their classmate, and now comrade. Was there any doubt that I was going to fail? Naruto asked while smirking. Everyone else smiles back. Alright guys, we're celebrating. Let's get something to eat. Naruto stated. Eventually, after an argument between Choji and Naruto, the 6 decided to head to Ichiraku Ramen, Naruto's favorite place. He recalled the place when it was just a measly stand that could only serve about 5 people at once. However, after Naruto gained his Rinnegan, word got out that the stand was his favorite spot to eat. The business at Ichiraku picked up tremendously afterwards, and 7 years later, it was one of the premier restaurants in Konoha. It was about the size of a small apartment building, with several floors, and several waiters and cooks. The first floor was breakfast food, the second served lunch, and the third served dinner. Each floor had about 20 tables, with 1 table with 1 chair, 1 with 2, and so on, and so forth. Naruto and his friends entered the restaurant and headed up to the 2nd floor, where a waiter met them. We'd like a table for 6. Naruto said, as the waiter took down their names. He directed Naruto and the rest of the crew to a table near a huge window. It gave off a nice view of the western district of Konoha. Naruto slid into the corner with Hinata next to him, and Kiba next to her. Shino sat across from him, with Shikamaru in the middle, and Choji at the end. The waiter came up to them once more. What are your orders? I'll have 3 large bowls of pork ramen to start, please. Naruto said. I'll have 3 large bowls of miso ramen. Choji stated. I'll have some Asian sesame noodles with ginger-scented chicken. Shino stated. I'd like to order a medium bowl of shrimp ramen, Kiba said. Troublesome, can I have some tuna maki? Shikamaru asked. Ayano, I'll each have a small bowl of vegetable ramen, please. Hinata stammered out. The waiter nodded, and left to hand the order off to Tucci, the head cook of the lunch menu. So guys, how'd your ninjutsu test go? Naruto asked, kickstarting a conversation. Well, I did all 3 academy, and then used my bugs to make a bug clone. Shino stated. I did this, and then used my partial expansion. Choji continued. I did all 3, but didn't get any extra credit. Hinata said without stuttering, much to everyone's shock. Beyond all 3, and then shadow possession. Shikamaru stated. I did all three, and then used the headhunter jutsu on Mizuki, Kiba said. Naruto and Shikamaru snickered. So that was why he was covered in dirt. They managed to say while all the others just looked at them. After a few seconds or so, they managed to calm themselves. Oh, I did all three, and then used the shadow clone jutsu, Naruto stated after realizing that he never told them what he did. At that point, the food had arrived. As they ate, they made pointless talk about what was going on in their life, how they were doing in their training, and even managed to make a day that Naruto would take them somewhere special. As they ate and talked, Naruto gave off a true smile, which everyone else noted, and did as well. They understood that they would always have one another's back, no matter what. They were friends, and that's what they did. Finally, after all else was finished, a ramen eating contest took place between Choji and Naruto. Naruto managed to pull away with the win, triumphing over Choji's 13 bowls with his 15. Afterwards, they left, but still stayed together. Race to the hill, Kiba said, as he ran off. Everyone else smirked and ran off after him. It was a tradition that after anything they all did together, they would make it to a hill, and lay there, watching the clouds and the sunset. Naruto made it first, with Kiba coming in second even with his head start. Shikamaru and Shino arrived at the same time, with Hinata following them. Choji, naturally, was the last to arrive. The six plopped down under the lone tree that stood on the hill, laying in a circle with Hinata carried the world. A few words were exchanged, but one didn't need to hear the conversation to understand that they were close. Finally, after a few hours of that, the sun set, and it became nighttime. They all stood. Oh? Guys, we have to meet at the academy at 8:30 tomorrow to find out our teams, Naruto said, remembering something Iruka had told him, as he was leaving. The others nodded, and were about to leave, but they spotted a figure run away, with a bundle in his arms. A few seconds later, the Hokage's voice rang out over the village. All available ninja, the forbidden scroll of sealing has been stolen. Spread out, and find it before it gets away. The voice boomed. The six looked at each other, before looking at the way the stranger had left. You don't think, Shikamaru said with widened eyes. It doesn't matter, it's a chance we'll have to take. Let's go guys, Naruto said, as he leapt off after the culprit. The other five quickly followed him. Hinata, can you see him? Naruto called out, as they leapt through the thick foliage that was the forest that lies on the outside of Konoha. A strange feeling of thrill was in all their bodies. They were in a virtual state of lockdown, and they were outside the village for the first time in their lives. It was only their first day on their job, and yet they were here chasing after someone who might have stolen the scroll. Hi, Naruto. He's still running away from us, but we're catching up to him. If we continue like this, we should catch him in under 5 minutes, Hinata stated. Her stutter had dissolved completely in the time of emergency. Kiba, do you have any scent that might identify the thief? Naruto asked the person traveling next to him. Kiba sniffed the air. He has a distinct smell of snakes, but he also smells like Mizuki-sensei, he exclaimed. Everyone's eyes widened at the revelation. That can be what Choji said. A few bugs have caught up to him, and they identified the chakra as belonging to Mizuki-sensei as well, Shino informed them. But why would Hinata murmured? Of course, Naruto exclaimed, feeling stupid. He's stolen the scroll for Orochimaru. Everyone gasped, Shino and Shikamaru more so because they understood why. How? Kiba asked. How did you come to this conclusion? Remember back a few months ago, when Mizuki-sensei was absent for a week. Iruka-sensei told us that he was on a mission to the land of rice. According to rumors, the new village over there, called Oto, was created and ruled by Orochimaru. Naruto chattered off quickly. Plus, my bugs that are working on draining his chakra are picking up on a much fouler chakra as well, coming from his neck, Shino stated. Kiba's eyes narrowed. Now that you mention it, I remember that there was a strange marking on his neck as well. It was black, and kinda looked like what the Sharingan should have when it fully matures, he said. Shikamaru shook his head. So he went to the land of rice completely unharmed, and came back with a marking on his neck, and the smell of snakes. The marking sounds like the cursed seal that we learned about. It was, after all, created by Orochimaru. So if he went to Oto, it would have been the perfect chance to get the seal from him. And if he came back smelling like snakes, it suggests that he said, he's been dealing with Orochimaru, Naruto said. And that explains why he stole the scroll. Care to elaborate? Choji asked. He now understood who Mizuki was really working for, but not why the scroll had anything to do with it. Think about it. Orochimaru doesn't just give away the markings for free. He expects something in return. Mizuki must be giving him the scroll, Shikamaru stated. Why the scroll, though? Hinata asked. The scroll is full of powerful seals that can make the wielder significantly more powerful. Orochimaru's life ambition is to avoid death and try to learn everything that exists. He's probably banking that there's a way to get immortal in this scroll, and even if there isn't, then he gets out of it, and Konoha loses them. It's a win-win situation for him, unless we can get the scroll back, Naruto stated. Shino nodded. But I can't shake the feeling that there's an underlying ambition in this, he said. There can be a number of reasons. He can be searching for a way to find immortality, to unseal the Kyuubi, or maybe he's planning to use some he finds in an attack against Konoha. However, we don't have any proof right now. All we can go on is that Mizuki-sensei is stealing the scroll, most likely for Orochimaru. Naruto replied. All of his friends nodded, not freaking out about the Kyuubi situation, because they knew that Naruto held him in. They even met him once, and they had to say that he was quite friendly. Finally, they caught up to the culprit. So, it's you kids, huh? He said with a chuckle. Give it up, Mizuki. You can't win. Hand over the scroll, and surrender peacefully, and you might live through this ordeal. Naruto stated. To confirm their suspicion, Mizuki stepped out into the light, with the scroll in his arms. These 6 don't stand a snowball's chance in hell against me. Mizuki sneered, as he put the scroll down. He quickly made hand signs, as well. Earth style. Mud Dragon Bullet, he proclaimed, as a dragon head rose from the ground next to him, and launched several mud balls at them. They quickly scattered away from the attack. Partial expansion jutsu, Chaoji said, as his hands increased to the size of Naruto's body. He swung at Mizuki, who jumped to launch himself out of the way. Unfortunately, the group of 6 had planned it out, so they were glad that he did so. The group of bugs swarmed the scroll, and flew back to Shino, who grabbed hold of it. Tunneling Fang, Kiba said, as he flew through the air at Mizuki. Without any way to dodge, and forget about the substitution jutsu, Mizuki was hit by Kiba, though he had crossed his arms in front of him to block the attack. The impact and energy behind the attack blew Mizuki at Chaoji, who grabbed him. Shino's bug swarmed him, eating him of all his chakra. As they flew off, Naruto approached him, ready to put his part into play, when suddenly Chaoji yelped, and dropped him. Mizuki stood up, with purple chakra flowing visibly from him. The curse seal was spreading over his body. Take this. Earth style. Multi-mud dragon bullet. He said, as 2 dragons of earth shot mud bullets everywhere. Shino Tensei. Naruto stated, as they were all repelled from him, and his friends. Mizuki was also thrown through the air, straight to Hinata. 8 trigrams. 2 palms. She said, as she closed 2, stopping the chakra flow. 4 palms. She said, closing the next 4. 8 palms. 16 palms. 32 palms. 8 trigrams, 64 palms. She called out, as her hands moved in a blur. With each strike, she closed off one after another until finally, with a palm to the heart, she sent him flying back to Shikamaru, who finished his hand seals. Shadow Possession Jutsu, he said, as Mizuki landed on his feet. As Shikamaru's shadow connected with Mizuki's, he was kept in place. Naruto used the opportunity to go for what he was going for earlier. Soul removal. He stated while holding his hand on Mizuki's head. As he pulled upward, a spirit was removed from Mizuki's body. With a silent scream, Mizuki slumped over, dead. Naruto nodded, as the Anbu appeared. Naruto Uzumaki, Shino Aburum, Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inizuka, Chaoji Akamichi, and Shikamaru Nar, the Hokage, wish for your presence. Mizuki's body will be taken to the research division for analysis. The Anbu commander said, as 2 others picked up the body, and away. The commander, and the other Anbu members, escorted the 6 genin back into the village. Sarutobi rubbed his head, as he listened to Naruto, and his friends tell their tale. He was definitely too old to be dealing with this shit. So let me get this straight. You guys celebrated graduating by going to Ichiraku, and then hanging out on the hill, where you noticed a figure running off with a bundle. Hearing my command, you 6 went after him, and figured out that Mizuki was betraying the village, and working for Orochimaru. You 6 then used to incapacitate, and ultimately kill Mizuki, and retrieve the scroll. Here capped, as the 6 nodded silently. He sighed. This has become an A-rank mission for all of you. You each will receive 50,000 ryo for your efforts. Come back tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon to pick up the money. He stated. Hi. The 6 replied. By the way, your parents were alerted to your actions, and Sarutobi stated, as his door slammed open to reveal Tsun. Following her, Shibi, Chaoza, Shikaku, and Hiashi all strode over to their children. I heard what you did, Kiba. Good job using the passing fang. Tsun said, as Kiba blushed under his mom's praise. Nice work. Shibi said to Shino, who nodded. Good job, son. We'll celebrate by going out to the BBQ restaurant tomorrow. Chaoza said to Chaoji while providing him with another bag of chips. Good work, Shikamaru. Shikaku said to Shikamaru, who mumbled troublesome under his breath. Hinata stared at Hiashi, who started right back. To her joy, he gave her a nod, signaling a job well done. Overwhelmed with joy, she jumped onto Hiashi in a flying hug. Though he doesn't react, Naruto saw that he was trying his damn best not to smile. You're all dismissed. Sarutobi said, as the 11 disappeared. He sighed, and turned to the last paper on his desk. Looks like I'll have to change the team arrangements. Sarutobi stated, as he erased a few names, and moved them around. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.